historian.
Alright, so today I'm heading north, heading this direction, and I was going to take a day off. I was feeling pretty sore yesterday, but the world was calling out to me to go for a little bit of a walk today, so I don't know how long it's going to be, don't know how far I'm going to go, but today was originally going to be a day of rest, but we'll see. It's actually a vehicle parked here because I love this boarded up house every time I walk by it. That looks pretty abandoned too. Oh man, thank God they kind of paved this recently. Or they went over it again with rock, because this used to be treacherous. What the heck? Did somebody just like plow into this? Because this was up the last time I walked by. Somebody just plowed right through this. Fan, bucket, whatever the hell that is. Ooh, that breeze is beautiful. It's just, I knew there was going to be a little bit of a gentle breeze today, and it's very, very nice. Yeah, it's supposed to be about 81 degrees today. Not bad. Yesterday was about 83. I just felt substantially hotter. One benefit over my walk yesterday, a lot more of my walk yesterday was out in the open. Which actually, this means I'm getting a lot less vitamin D, but apparently my vitamin D is good, so ain't that big of a deal, but this will probably be, since I'm more residential, going more north, probably going to be a lot more obstructed by trees. Oh, well, not anymore. Okay, now we have the drama of trying to cross Stark Street unscathed. Oh yeah, Ventura Park's over here. I like Ventura Park. It's, you know, it's sweet, it's quaint, it is what it is. Uh-oh, the popo. Boy, and I'll tell you what, I am just a, futon. Fortunately, I've already got one of those. So I've been walking for probably about, I don't know, 12 to 15 minutes. And I'm already feeling just really fatigued in my legs, so this is probably going to be a pretty short excursion. Wow, Gleason just got real quiet for a second there. Oh good, a street to turn down. That's what I was looking for. I've been waiting all my life. Ooh, the dry cleaner's open. Okay. Walking. Hallelujah, I see some trees ahead. I was bragging about being in the shade most of the time, and I haven't really been in the shade for like 10 minutes now, so that is very, very nice looming ahead. I'm heading towards, I think the next big street I hit is Halsey. And I did a video a way while back, I don't know, like two and a half years ago, where I just kind of walked through this general area, just kind of like this. Kind of just exploring a general area near where I live that I could walk through, and it wouldn't take a lifetime to get home. And I pretty much made it up to Halsey and turned around, and based on how my legs are feeling, it's real hit and miss. If I'm still feeling like I'm kind of cramping up, then I'm probably going to use Halsey as kind of a turnaround. If not, I'll travel a little further north, because once you get past Halsey, there's not the big road every 5 blocks like there is when you've got, you know, Powell, Division, Stark, Burnside, Gleason, Halsey, so on. Who the heck has DirecTV anymore? Double DirecTV. Oh man, I'm coming out by El Indio. Probably my favorite, at least my favorite Mexican food restaurant in the vicinity of where I live. It's like right around the corner up here. Yeah, El Indio's right at the end there. And let me tell you something. You want to get a margarita from El Indio? 1's enough. 2's almost too many. 3 is an execution. I don't like all this commerce I'm surrounded by. Color Authority, Jiffy Lube. There's El Indio right there. And whatever the... Oh, this is for like parking. Okay. So I'm gonna cross here. I'm pretty sure the... Right around the corner is the Baskin Robbins. Yep. That's where I had my... whatever the hell they called it. The ice cream dish from Stranger Things Season 3. Did a video on that. If y'all are interested. Something steamboat. I can't freaking remember. God, this is the most civilization I've seen in one place in a long time. I'm not touching this damn button. You're dirty and you're COVIDed. Okay, I guess I can go. Alright. Oh, that's right. This is one of these things where we got two busy streets, one going one way. Gotta get across Weedler. Stupid ass Weedler Street. Ooh, Parkview. Is this supposed to be like a bougie old folks home? It's a Christian retirement community. Well, okay then. I'm gonna turn out this way. It's actually kind of cute through here. I wasn't expecting much because Northeast Portland has a stigma of just not being that great, but like everything else, you know, people say stuff, people believe it without actually looking for themselves. I used to think all of North Portland was sketchy. That's because I grew up, you grew up being taught, especially as suburban protected little white kids, you were taught to not go into North Portland. Any part of it. North, northeast, northwest was pretty okay, I guess, but yeah, you were taught to not go into those areas. Because, I was born in 85, and in the 80s into the 90s, there was so much crime, and there was gang issues, and there was drug issues, and it's mostly because, the city government ignored the North Portland area for decades. Every time help was asked for, it was ignored. And so, there was a lot of desperation up in that area for a while. And so you were taught as kids, oh, North Portland, that's dangerous. Northeast Portland, that's dangerous. And, at the time, a lot of Portland's population that were people of color lived in North Portland. So again, without anybody having to be outwardly racist, you kind of were taught to correlate people of color with drugs, gangs, poverty, all that stuff, economic hardships, which I guess that kind of goes in line with poverty. And, color me surprised when I actually started exploring parts of North Portland, Irvington, the Boyce area, certain parts of Northeast Portland. Some of them are pretty nice, and obviously we had gentrification, but it's like a lot of these places that were here long before gentrification. So, find out for yourself about places. Don't just automatically believe what random people will tell you, especially if they themselves don't even have any experience in those areas. We got a mail truck. That's the second mail truck sighting I've seen. Oh, the Postal Service must be just fine then. Wink, wink. Another discarded face mask. I think since I've started doing these, this looks like a kind of a nice stretch. It's kind of nice through here. I like it. It's quiet. But, yeah, since I've started doing my therapy walks, and this is my third one, so I'm just getting started. It's about the 6th or 7th discarded face mask I've seen. As I said in my last therapy walk, that's becoming the new litter issue. People taking their face masks off and just tossing them on the floor. I saw one yesterday with blood spots on it. I just want to know what the hell that was all about. So I'm not exactly certain what neighborhood this is. I might be in Parkrose or Parkrose Heights right now. It's actually, I was surprised, even with how well I know the city of Portland and how long I've lived where I've lived. It's really not too long of a walk to get pretty much to like the north end of Portland, where you're like getting up towards, you know, Cascade Station and that stuff. I'm at 106th and Tillamook, which really doesn't help me much, but it's nice. Oh yeah, I think that might be, yeah, that's Rocky Butte up over there, so I actually have a better idea of where I am. I'm actually pretty close. You go a little ways further this way and you're at Maywood Park, which I did a video on quite some time ago, but only posted it a few weeks back. And it's this city that's, it's its own enclave. Is that the right word? You know when you think you know a word and then it comes out and you're like, I have no reason to really remember that that's the exact word. Oh boy, we got a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints over here. Makes me a little edgy. And I am trying to, by the way, while I'm, hey squirrel, while I'm kind of passively talking about stuff, trying to video what's in front of me instead of videoing me, because I feel like it'll make these at least a little bit more interesting if you're actually like seeing what's going on around me. You say, hey, you're in Parkrose Heights or something like that, and be like, okay, well this is kind of the vibe of that area. Anyway, yeah, so Maywood Park, we're actually getting really close to the freeway, so this is all going to end before too long, and we're going to hit I-84, and I'm going to have no choice but to go down to 102nd. But, so yeah, Maywood Park is an enclave. It's a little city within the city of Portland, its own city within, landlocked city, kind of. And they established themselves as their own city when the city of Portland was trying to run I-205 through here, which obviously they ultimately did anyway. But because part of I-205 goes through what was the Maywood Park neighborhood, they tried to establish themselves as their own city and were successful. But the reason they did it was because they thought, or they were at least hoping, if they could turn their community into an actual bona fide city, that they would control some of that land and they would be able to stop I-205 from being rammed in right up against their kind of really quaint and cute and quiet community. But of course, the big city always wins. I really don't know how, because it was established as its own city, but the city of Portland was still able to like ram its freeway through a portion that is part of Maywood Park. So they just did it anyway, because that's what the city of Portland does, you know. When they built I-5, and there was a bunch of complaints about that, and you know, they ended up taking a bunch of people's homes. They did it, you know, took people's homes right out from under them, and then splintered North Portland in half, just whacked that community in half. And it you know, there's always economic and racial implications when this stuff happens. They ran I-5 through there because that was right through the middle of Portland's black neighborhood. So of course, politicians didn't care. You know, it's just like, sorry, one of my vitamin D things popped up on my phone. But like, yeah, 205, which is way over here. Like, I'm coming up to 102nd right now, and it's just the other side of 102nd. So it's kind of, it's pretty much in line with like 96th. So about 96 blocks east of you know, like the Willamette River in downtown. Excuse me. My throat's drying up from all this warmth. I don't know why I've kept my mask on all this time, but now I'm coming to a busy street, so I got to deal anyway. So yeah, so I-205 runs, you know, about between like 95 and 100 blocks, going north and south, and it's that far east of Willamette River, downtown Portland, the west side. Well, originally, their original plans were to run it through more where the 30s. So I don't know if, I can't remember if it was like 34th, 36th, but in that area. Of course, that particular stretch, which is much closer to the city, and at the time we weren't quite as expanded this far east, so it made sense to keep a new freeway a little closer to downtown. But they would have ended up running that freeway right through places like Laurelhurst. And Laurelhurst, even to this day, is a fairly affluent, mostly white neighborhood. So, of course, when the affluent white people came out and said, no, you're not going to run, we don't want you running your freeway through our town or through our neighborhood, the city was like, okay, we'll find something else. So they shoved it further east where there was a lot more poverty. They splintered places like Lentz in half, pretty much ruined these, communities. It's been definitively shown that since I-205 was built cutting through the Lentz neighborhood, which I work in the Lentz neighborhood, or at least on the fringe of it, it's been definitively shown that since I-205 was built through there, there's been an increase in crime ever since. That's what happens when you splinter these neighborhoods. A lot of the people that can leave do because their neighborhood is altered. You end up, some of the cheapest property you can get is property rammed up against, the freeway, because it's not exactly a desired location. And, you end up with, it's almost a given that there's going to be an increase in poverty, an increase in this, an increase in that. And, it was just another case where the rich white people complained and immediately action was taken. But people in the more poor neighborhoods try to take action, and the city says, we understand your concerns, it's a tough decision, blah, 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 but the city needs this. You need to not be selfish because we know what's best for the city because we're politicians, and we're going to do it anyway. Man, that guy probably just heard everything I was saying. I was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? I'm going to probably start turning around. Just kind of waddling. I know it's a little bit further to cross the freeway on 102nd here. And eventually get to Maywood Park. I don't know if I want to go that far. I'm feeling a little tired. I'm getting pretty tired. I think I'll go home now. Ooh, these are beautiful. Again, I love the people that, I think when I loved going, like as a kid, we had a little patch of dirt. Can I even get through this way? Kinda. Yeah, when I was a kid, or not when I was a kid, when I was like just finishing high school, we had a little patch of dirt out in front of our house. And my parents, we just recently started renting the house, and it was fun. So, we bought some flowers, because the first couple of months you live in a new place, you're all excited, oh, we're going to make this place look beautiful inside and out. And I forced them to let me plant my own flowers. Or I forced them to let me plant the flowers. I've always had an appreciation for gardening, just, I don't really ever do it. And so I love seeing people that just go ham on their gardening, and just have flowers of all assorted types and colors everywhere. I love it. Once again, as is typical for me, I end up having a much longer excursion than pre-planned. Knott Street. Why not? Sorry. I've been watching a lot of Schitt's Creek. I love Schitt's Creek. It's my new go-to show. It's therapeutic. Not just for me, but for other people. I've actually read videos that show has posted. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's on the Pop app. It hits me so perfectly, and I've watched like pretty much the whole series like 5 times over, and I saw it for the first time like 3 months ago. It's addictive. But anyway, yeah, people have gone on to YouTube. People who have depression, people have admitted to being suicidal, and they've said that they watch that show and it literally has a therapeutic, calming effect on them. And I totally understand that. There's something so calming. When I was sitting around not getting much done because I was having the muscle aches and the joint discomfort, and I was getting stressed about it and waiting until I could do my appointment with my doctor, I just was laying there relaxing, and I had Schitt's Creek on repeat. It's genuinely entertaining, it's genuinely creative, it's genuinely funny. I wish I could do something that comedic and gripping at the same time. I'll work on it someday. And anyway, if you haven't seen it before, there's a character named Ted in it who just does puns all the time. So when I did that why not pun, it immediately made me think of Ted. So anyway, long roundabout way to explaining why I just laughed at my own pun and correlated that to a TV show I've been watching. I'm at 104th and Knot now. Whew. Good thing I put... Because yeah, I'd be burning up like hell if I didn't put my sunscreen on today. My sunscreen's a little bit expired, but I've been using it the last couple of days and getting a lot of sun exposure. And no burning. Nothing resembling a sunburn yet. So, for now, the stuff is still working. Me, on the other hand, not so much. Yeah, I'm definitely in like the Parkrose vicinity. I swear that this area, I think it's like the wrapping roads. Like, I remember, if it wasn't right here, it was near here. This wild day I had with my grandparents. I don't know, my grandma used to do estate sales, like, as a profession. And my mom would help her, and sometimes I'd go along and get to play with the random stuff, because usually the estate sales they did were old people's homes, so you'd, like, find just random stuff. And then every so often you'd have the house where the person who lived there probably died there and hadn't done anything for a long time. My mom would show up for estate sales and find, you know, dishes with rotting mold in them, because they'd probably been sitting in there for a very long time. But after my grandma retired from that, she still kind of would she'd get hired for random thises and that's. And one time, you know, probably just my parents were trying to get me out of the house, they were like, you're going to go help your parents, like, go move this elderly gentleman's stuff out of this house. So essentially there was an old elderly man. Never met him. We just knew that he was an old man. And he'd been living in this big house in Lake Oswego that apparently was just a place that had a lot of rooms for rent. And there was a woman that lived there and ran it, and she had all these shrines to this guy that was very, like, Rajneeshi looking, which already made me kind of ill at ease, and it was just kind of strange. And I ended up, yeah, so I remember I pretty much just helped her move their stuff out, and actually we helped move some of the guy's clothes, like his old shirts and stuff, and I actually got to keep a couple of the shirts the guy actually had some nice shirts. There was one particular button-up shirt that I used to wear all the time. I just loved it. It was also very form-fitting when I was a little bit thinner. And we ended up, you know, packing this guy's stuff and moving, but the one thing I remember really well from that experience was we went to pick the guy's bed up. You know, classic mattress, box spring. We lifted the mattress, and there was a huge stash of porno magazines on the box spring that this guy had obviously been hiding between his mattress and his box spring. What is this guy freaking doing? Yeah, go. I know people are looking for places. I just hate that when, like, I'm walking along doing my vlog thing and a car will just, like, slow down around me and kind of linger. Figure out where you're going, son. So yeah, but anyway, I remember packing that guy's stuff up and moving it to a new place. I think that was more like, it was a place with a lot of rooms, but it was more a place that had consistent care for people. I think this guy was an older gentleman, and he was getting to that point where he couldn't really live on his own anymore. But it was an interesting experience. See, whenever I went to Lake Oswego to somebody's house, which was very rare, something random would happen. Like, I did a vlog video on my channel a while back about technically my first job, which this guy in Lake Oswego hired me to help him do yard work at $15 an hour. This was 2005. $15 an hour to do general yard work. You'd think, like, oh my god, what a steal. I worked for the guy for 3 hours, 2 different days, and made my, like, you know, almost $80 for limited work. Oh man, we got a table and a sofa over here. Booyah. And the guy just weirded me out. He would say random things. I remember he made some kind of bizarre comments about 9/11 that I can't really remember exactly what they were now, but, you know, just said stuff that kind of put you on edge. He lived in a house that had practically no windows in it. Like, he specifically had it made to have no windows. This is a very story time vlog, but I mean, there's not a lot going on. I'm just kind of letting you see what's around me, giving you a vibe for a little chunk of Northeast Portland while I chit chat. But yeah, it just, the guy weirded me out, and I remember after the first day I went home and I was just like, I don't want to go back and work for that guy. Like, that guy's gonna lock me in his windowless home and do something. So it was a little chilly and a little rainy the second day I worked for him, so I started getting a little bit of a runny nose, and this guy's property was just packed with bamboo. It was actually a very impressive property, all the stuff the guy had around his house. And I started telling him that, like, I think I'm having like a really severe allergy attack, and I started really whipping up the sniffles, and told him, like, you know, I've been around this bamboo all day and I've never really been around bamboo, which was factual. And I think, like, I'm having like a severe allergic reaction to the bamboo. And the guy was like, huh, well, I've never heard of anybody being allergic to bamboo before, but I guess you can be allergic to anything these days. And I was just like, yep, that's what I was thinking. Oh, I didn't see the zero. I thought they were selling this for $175, but it's $1,750. I was about to say, less than $200. I'd buy that and fix it up. I wonder, is this a school? This has got to be a school. I don't know what school, but ooh, a scooter. Tell you what, I'd hop on you and ride you home right now to get off my legs, but onward I go. I'm not doing that bad. I'll be fine. Yeah. So yeah, so we kind of had this kind of vague parting of ways. This kind of, he was like, well, okay, you know, if you feel like coming back, let me know. And he wrote me out a check, so I got paid for the time I put in. I probably wasn't as weird as I remember. It was my first job, and you know, when you very first start working a job, everything seems to take forever, and more of it might have just been me getting worked up about having to actually work for once in my life, you know. But it was kind of like, well, if you want to come back, you can do that. And I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, call me on Monday if you want to. And I was like, okay. Left, got in my car, and I was like, I'm never calling that guy. And that's how my first job came to an end. But again, it was another kind of weird experience with some guy living in Lake Oswego. All dogs allowed on district property. How forthright of you. God, I gotta stop. I gotta stop going east. I'm gonna run out of space. We got a park. Honestly, I remembered seeing this park pop up. It's like not City Park, or there's like another park near here. I see a lot of shade. It's a pretty cute little spot next to the school. I just hope it goes through to another street on the other side. I don't want to have to backtrack. Ooh, horseshoes, horseshoe pit. Man, I'd love to come to a park like this and just sit down and write all day, but, you know, I guess if I brought something to, like, wipe the table down real quick, like this bench dead ahead, bring something to wipe the bench down, and, you know, have your hand sanitizer, keep your wits about you, realize what's going on around you. It's probably fine. One park exploration. Unplanned and unexpected, but here we are. It's a very decorative trash can. And I'm finally heading south again. This is unique. I'm on San Rafael, and they have like the white lines paved on both sides, but there's no yellow line in the middle. You like never see that in Portland. I don't know if that's common in other cities, other parts of the country in the world, but that's a first for me. It's all about noticing the little things. Ruben J. Minash. That is a banger of a name. Some of these places are beat all to hell, but I just love the environment. The environment of just being surrounded by trees up and down your street, along your house. I don't know, I just crave that. I think it goes back to my child. I just remember a few different times in my life. I don't even know if it's from dreams or it's just some vision I had at some point in my life, but it was seeing this particular stretch of road, and maybe I saw something similar to it as a child, and it stayed with me. I really don't know, but I've always had this vision of this place I want to live. Like, if I was ever to make a film and I wanted to find that perfect spot, I would search all around for a location that really matched with this vision I've had in my mind of this place. And it had, you know, like sometimes streets will split, or just, you know, the block between two streets, there'll just be a big green island pretty much there, kind of a big island space taking up a block, and then houses on either side of the opposite ends of those streets. And just, you know, the island area is tree covered but open enough to walk around in it. The grass is plush and green and everything, it's very tree covered, like this, even more so. It's funny coming from a guy who has vitamin D issues that I'd crave so badly to live somewhere, live in a locale that's kind of like this, that just kind of keeps you hidden from the sun. And it's not that I want to be out of the sun, it's just my general preference. And I've just seen the vision of that. It's like a little stretch, a few blocks, where it just looks like that. You know, not absurdly beautiful homes, but nice, okay homes. I don't need a mansion. I don't need everyone around me to be bougie. It would probably make for having a lot of crappy neighbors. And it's just, and so when I go through stretches like that, it reminds me of that vision I have of this like most perfect spot I'd like to live in. And I don't even know if it's a real place, if it's something I actually maybe saw as a kid or dreamt about. It's just there. Wow, I didn't know I could go so long without talking. I just went like 20 minutes walking, so I'm almost home. I just didn't talk. My jaw almost hurts now, but I'm almost to Stark, kind of meshed into this, just lined with newer apartment properties. It's not bad. Alright, well, since I am almost home, there's the Big Lots I go to did go to all the time. And the East Precinct, I might as well video it since I'm passing it again. It's right over here. So I used to cut through here to go to Big Lots all the time. It's bordered from one end to the other. Restricted access. Yeah, I think so. What if that one-man solidarity party is still going on? Yesterday there was like one guy out here with a sign. I honestly don't know what to expect going around the corner here. Across, get a little bit more full view. I'm just a short distance away, and thank God. This actually, I just checked my heart monitor that shows how far I walk, and of course today was going to be a shorter walk than the others. It's going to be a little bit more of a simple trek, and of course it ended up being the longest one I've done so far, because that's just how it always ends up when it comes to me and the things that I do. So, on that note, hey, it's another day of exercise. Just trying to make myself feel better each and every day, like I've been trying to do off and on the past couple of months. Strengthening, exercising, getting everything better. So that's it. Till next time. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, as always, to like, share, subscribe, hit up my Patreon if you so choose. And until next time, my fellow adventurers, fellow viewers, whichever side of the tracks you want to fall on, it's been Steve, the amateur historian, and I'll see you next time.